Welcome back to the Vandy Sports Podcast. I'm Joey Dwyer here after Vanderbilt's 101-44 loss at the hands of Alabama. Just an embarrassing loss for Vanderbilt, an awful night, as Jerry Stackhouse said. One that he can't put his finger on, even how this happened. Yeah, this was this was just a complete disaster for Vanderbilt. There's no other way to say it. Vanderbilt got outmatched in almost every category. At halftime, Vanderbilt had 5 field goals made. Alabama had 10 threes, and Vanderbilt had 10 turnovers. Vanderbilt shot 10% from three. It's a team that's going to have to shoot the three at an incredibly high level. They shot 25% from the field tonight. Alabama shot 59% from the field, 46% from three, made 19 threes. That's not going to do it. And Vanderbilt hasn't had a loss as embarrassing as this, but they've had way too many nights where I felt like this, and where Vanderbilt has probably felt like this as well. Grambling State, Southern Miss, Kentucky last time, Alabama the first time. It just feels like there's way too many of these nights where Vanderbilt just feels like, is this rock bottom? Oh, nope, it's coming in 2 weeks. And Vanderbilt better hope that this is rock bottom for them, because it's hard to see a way it gets worse than a game like this. Tyrin Lawrence was benched because of a coach's decision. Jerry Stackhouse said that he wants to play the guys who play the right way. That resulted in Miles Keefe starting, and a lot of his older guys taking the bench for the first few minutes. One of the older guys who did play was Liam Robbins, and that was, I mean, I guess not a huge surprise, because all signs had been pointing to him coming back a lot sooner than 4 to 6 weeks. It felt like his recovery was really kickstarted, and he hadn't been feeling pain in a few days, it felt like, but they just wanted to be cautious with him. Robbins coming back is huge for them. It's more than just them getting back their leading scorer. It's them getting back their heart and soul. This is the guy that if a guy gets by his guy, he can block a shot. If they need a basket. Ironically, tonight, Robbins was back and they still gave up a 21-0 run, but it just feels like that's maybe the most significant thing long-term out of tonight. Alabama is really good, but there's no excuse for this. A game can't happen like this. I tried to maybe give you something positive there, but this is just, you can't have this happen. Vanderbilt had 6 assists, tongue twister. Normally, I'm used to saying that for one guy when it's a tongue twister, but today Vanderbilt had 6 assists. Alabama had 29. Alabama forced 16 turnovers, scored 27 points off of them, out rebounded Vanderbilt, grabbed 10 offensive rebounds. Although Vanderbilt did get a few offensive rebounds, there's a reason that they out rebounded them on the offensive glass, because Alabama didn't miss many shots. Vanderbilt missed a lot of them. And just a brutal night. Paul Lewis being the leading scorer is certainly encouraging, but tonight doesn't matter that much. Vanderbilt has to flush this game quickly. I think we learned a lot about this team on Saturday as to how they respond to this. How much leadership do they really have in that locker room with the players? Can Jerry Stackhouse get his message across that, hey, we can't let this game define us. We have to be better than this. That's a huge game for Vanderbilt. They're on a 3-game losing streak now in league play. They see Ole Miss. It's a winnable game at home. Then it's Tennessee. That's a game that's going to be really difficult to win. Then it's Florida on the road. Vanderbilt could legitimately go into South Carolina on a 6-game losing streak if they lose to Ole Miss. So the way they bounce back on Saturday is going to be tremendously important for this team. And I guess the reason for optimism that they will is just that Alabama had their worst loss of the season far and away and then came out like this. Is this Vanderbilt team wired that way? We'll find out on Saturday, but tonight was just a complete embarrassment. Just felt like nothing went right outside of the Robbins story where he came back. That was certainly encouraging, and that's encouraging down the line here, especially since he still had 9 points and 7 rebounds while getting acclimated to this game against a guy like Charles Bediako, who is just unbelievably long and can alter so many shots around the rim. Vanderbilt as a whole has to get better, though, and that's really the only positive tonight. I wrote 2 quick takes tonight instead of 3. I think 2 suffice tonight, and you know how hard it is to get me off of that third quick take. Sometimes I want to do more, and sometimes I do more. But tonight, it just felt like anything I say would be beating a dead horse, because there's only so many ways to say Vanderbilt got dominated. Vanderbilt got ran out of the gym. Vanderbilt got outclassed. There's only so many ways to say that without being completely repetitive. And there's not much good that Vanderbilt had tonight. Paul Lewis scoring 10 is one. Robbins coming back is the big one, but Jordan Wright left this game with being lightheaded. Liam Robbins left this game looking like a boxer, and Tyrin Lawrence left due to a coaching decision. And I think that being arguably Vanderbilt's three best players is kind of a microcosm of this game, just seeing kind of how they left this game. And Vanderbilt as a whole just walked off the floor embarrassed. Alabama was bigger. They were faster. They were stronger. They got any shot they wanted. They defended their tail off. Although Vanderbilt did get some decent shots, 3 for 30 from three is not going to do it. And that's partly because of Vanderbilt. That's also partly because of Alabama and what they did. But there's only so many ways to say it. This was embarrassing for Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt's had too many nights where they felt like this. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that didn't chart a point tonight out of 14. That can't happen. Miles Studi had 4. Emmanuel Ansong had 6. Colin Smith had 0. Jordan Wright didn't score. Ezra Bonyon had 8. I didn't realize he had 8. Probably a lot in garbage time. Trey Thomas had 3, and I looked at one point. I can't see the plus minus right now, but at one point Trey Thomas had a negative 30 plus minus. Robbins was okay, especially for coming back. Dia didn't score. It was just a complete group effort for Vanderbilt tonight, and not in the way that you would hope. Jerry Stackhouse doesn't seem too concerned about this long term because they haven't had a game to this magnitude yet. But he also can't point his finger right now on what exactly went wrong, which is a little bit concerning. But also at the same time, not as concerning because that doesn't mean that means there's not maybe a glaring issue in his mind. And I kind of trust that if there's not one in his mind, maybe there's not one at the moment. It's just, it came out and he said they were a step slow. And yeah, they've been great on the road thus far. Today was kind of canceled all that out. It felt like just a game where you have no hope past the first 5 minutes, and Vanderbilt hasn't had that many games like that this year, but tonight was one. Tonight, this game felt decided within 5 minutes, and there's really nothing that they could do about it. Alabama got any shot they wanted by any player, just completely embarrassed Vanderbilt, and I haven't said that thus far, but they really earned it tonight, and I think anybody on that team would tell you that if they take this personally and go win at Ole Miss on Saturday, a lot of this is forgiven. They were expected to lose to Alabama anyway, but far and away the most embarrassing loss of their season and probably the most disastrous game of the Stackhouse tenure. Just unbelievably huge loss. Not in terms of they had to get this game to win on the resume or anything, or that's that important in the long run, I guess, if they respond well, but it's just a loss that's like, I can't believe they lost that bad. And I think I'm lower on this team than a lot of people, at times at least. I think at times I'm higher, at times I'm lower. Kind of just go with kind of what's objective at that point, but I didn't expect that, and I don't think anybody really had reason to expect that. Maybe they expected a blowout. That was unbelievable, and I don't have my best analysis tonight because what do you say after that? I don't really know. Vanderbilt's veterans again didn't come through. Vanderbilt can't shoot 10% from 3. They can't only hit 3 threes and give up 19. All of the statistical markers that we've looked at this season to measure kind of how good Vanderbilt can be and where they're good at, where they can get even with these types of teams, they got completely blown out in all those aspects tonight. They lost the rebounding significantly. They lost the 3-point battle significantly. They couldn't defend the perimeter. They turned it over more times than Alabama did. They only had 6 assists as opposed to 29. And tonight, just I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe it. There's only so many ways you can describe it, and I'm reaching the end of my list of those terms. Maybe if I'm a play-by-play guy at some point, I'll be able to think of those a little bit quicker off the top of my head. But right now, just lost for words. And this Vanderbilt team has done that a few times this year, Grambling, Southern Miss. But tonight, I think topped them all, although doesn't look too bad on their resume. It's losing the number 4 team in the country. Um, you certainly start to question some things after losing by 57 points, and the way that the leaders of this locker room and Jerry Stackhouse can get control of this team will tell you a lot here in the next few days. So we'll certainly be seeing some things in the next few days as to kind of how this team responds, but not much to like tonight. And I think I said it every way possible. This might be a shorter post game show, but there's not much to analyze tonight in a game like this. And I think Vanderbilt just can't have more games like this. They can't have nights in which they feel like this as often as they had this year. Just like, wow, we lost that game. This is a low point for us. I feel like it's been a low point 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4 this year. And that can't really happen with an SEC program in year 4. Things have to move quickly from here. Vanderbilt can't embarrass themselves the rest of the year like they did tonight. And I think everybody in the program knows that. So I appreciate you guys watching. Normally I'm not this negative, but they lost by 57 points. Kind of forced my hand. I wanted to have a good night tonight. Tough to do that with tonight's game, though. And God bless all you guys. Thank you for watching even through a game like this. And I appreciate you all. God bless and peace.